Hello, my name's Ralph and welcome back to the channel. It's my time, let's go. Today we're going to be working on the Pitch Black Evo motor, as I've had time to finally get back at it, and I'm excited about that. And today we're going to be doing the pistons, putting the pistons on and putting the cylinders on and getting those ready, and we'll see where we go from there. There's lots of things to do. Everything takes time, but I'm trying to fit it in between things, so follow us along here and we'll show you how to get those in there and get them in the right places. All right, let's get at it. So we've got everything ready to go here, and I like to put the rings and stuff on them before I install them on the motor, because it saves a lot of frigging around, especially with Evolution motors with the long studs sticking up through. So what we've got here is a set of aftermarket pistons, and it's a good opportunity to point a few things out. These pistons, as you can see, are flat tops with no markings on them, but they are marked in here, and they do have a red mark on there. That shouldered piece, should your piston have it, goes to the right hand side of the engine, so that would be the cam side of the engine, as if you were sitting on the bike. So that's what we want. The newer pistons have an arrow on them like this on the top, and that gives you the direction, and they will have no shouldered pieces. So it depends on the manufacturer that they come from. Obviously these are an older set, but they'll work just fine in the motor. Also, when using them, use whatever clips came with the piston, as the grooves inside these are machined out for the proper types of clips, and they won't work if you mix them up. Now, my particular ones have the standard sort of C-clip that you see in a lot of pistons, so we'll make sure that those go in there. The other pistons with the arrows on the front, the newer pistons, will take just a ring clip like that. So there's quite a difference. But the point is, do not mix or match. If your pistons come with a certain kind, and you're thinking, oh well, I'll just put the new designs in, don't do that. Use what's used for your pistons. So since this has the marking, and I don't want to make any mistakes, and that will be on the right hand side of our piston, I'm just going to take a little marker, and this won't hurt anything. But that will tell me that this is the front of the piston, so that I know. And I'll do the same with the other one. There we go. We'll check out this little mark on the shoulder on here, the shoulder piece to the cam side of the motorcycle. So again, I'll just put a little mark on that so I know. My pins, my clips, all in there. Alrighty, and I'm just going to take a little bit of engine lube, and I'm just going to put that in there. That helps things slide a little easier. Now when I'm working on the motor, I don't like to be leaning over to the other side, so I always try to imagine it on the motor and put my clips on this side. These C-clips have a shiny side and a sort of flat side, and the flat side we want out. That helps it to clip in and not pop out. So we're just going to take our first one here. Just going to set it into the groove. And just make sure that you're seated in there all around, and we appear to be. All we want to do, we're in the groove, we can turn it easily, and we want to put the clip at the top. That's where we want it, at the top of the stroke. If it's on its side, they say that it can actually compress and cause it to pop out. I've not had that happen, I don't think, in any particular cases, but it can happen. So now we have that with the sharp side out. Now we're ready to put our pin in when we put it over on the bike. So we're going to start by doing our oil rings first. This is our top ring, second ring. This is the oil ring. 3. Let's see what we got here. Those. Those are the other rings. So we'll start with our expander ring, and what we want to do is put a little bit of oil in here. Just to lube it up. Just makes things go a whole lot easier. Then we'll start with these. When these go in, they need to butt up to each other. You have to make sure that they're not overlapped or caught, and they are butted up to each other and stay that way. So we'll just put that one down first into the oil ring. Now these have to be in a specific place so that we know where they go. When the piston is facing forward here, our expander ring right there should be right in that area, about here. This is what we're looking for. So we'll get one of these out, and this expander ring is here. We want to put the next one about the same distance on the other side. So we'll start it in there and just work it gently around. Oops. Like that. So there's our gap there. This is our gap here. So we're just going to move that a little farther. All right. This is the rear of the piston. Expander gap, the other ring gap, and the other one we're going to try to put right about here. We want it approximately to be in that area. Make sure that we're going into the bottom groove. That's what we're shooting for. There we go. And we're looking for our separation there that we want to be right about there. So we have the expander ring here. We have the other open groove oil ring over here. And we've got the other one right here. And that's where we want them. So we're getting our second ring ready, and what we want to look for is a dot on the top, and there's a small dot on that. I don't know if you can see it or not. That lets you know that the ring should be going up. They're also chamfered a little bit on the bottom, and that chamfer should go down. So those are two sort of giveaways as to which way it goes. Don't try to just put them on by spreading them out like I did the other ones, because they're not near as flexible. What we want to use here is a ring compressor or a ring expander. We just want to get it down far enough so that we can slide it into the second groove. Sometimes it'll want to pop in the top one, just like that. Expand it a little more. Down. And there we go. We're in the second groove now, and there's lots of play there. So before we put the next one on our piston, we want to check our end gaps on these rings, and it's very important. So we just take this and we shove it down in there a little ways so it's squared up, and we're looking for at least 0.010 of an inch, which we have there. 15 is nice and acceptable. Just slide an 18 in there, so that's quite acceptable. And so that's the second ring, and we'll take our compression ring and do the same thing. Very gently put it in the cylinders. And we just got 19 in that one, but that's quite acceptable. They're good up to, I believe, 30. So now that we have that, we will go ahead and put our second ring on with the dot facing upwards. Into the second groove. Now they're saying the secondary oil ring should be about here on this. That's where that is. Their top ring has no markings on it or no tapers, which means it can go either way. Start it in the groove. Here we go. And this one is going to go all the way back around here. This is where we want the top ring. Now let's go over to the motor and put this one in. So I'm going to stick my base gasket on it at this time. It's a lot easier than trying to wiggle around and work over the engine. Oops. There we are. Making sure that our oil holes are down here. Our pin hole is up here. That's what we want. And we have to put our pin in yet. And we'll get to that. We had to take the pins out in order to deck the cases. So we've got to put a small pin in there, about like that. And that goes back in here because we took the other ones out and kind of wrecked them getting them out. Turns out that those can just tap down in there. That should leave us enough protrusion. Let's see how much it sticks up here. 235 thousandths of an inch. So down in there that far is just fine because there's actually space up in the cylinder like 300 thousandths of an inch. So that will do us. So now we'll put our gaskets on. Put our James gasket, dry, and making sure that this lines up with the pin hole and this lines up with the oiling hole. Just like so, and that we're down on the shoulders of these is what we want. I'm going to slide some rubbers on just to help protect the piston till we get it in place. Okay. Engine lube in there. Start this in the piston there. Just through a little ways so we can fit it onto the rod. There we go. Just shove that through. I'm going to put the clip on it, but I will cover up the holes. Wouldn't be the first time that a clip popped out and fell down inside where you didn't want it to go. Again, these have the C-clip, so they make it a little easier. So the flat side out is what we want, the flat side out. Okay. There we go. And we've got it up to the top. That's where we want that. And you can make sure by just compressing it a little bit, and it should slide around nice and easy in there if you're in the groove. All right. So now that we've got the pistons on and we've got them in the right place, and we're double checking our ring gap to make sure it's where we want to have it, and it looks good. Now it's cylinder time. So we're going to put our little pieces in here. These give us a platform for a piston to go down onto. There. Then when we go to put our cylinder down on it, everything is squared up in there the way it should be. So we can take these off. We're going to oil our piston up a bit. Just makes it a lot easier for our ring compressor to slide on. Next we'll oil up our ring compressor. There we go, and these have a top and a bottom, the way they like to go. Okay. Just want it down below the lip a little bit, evenly. And now we've got our cylinder oiled up. Okay, let's oil off my hands. Down in place. There we go. Just that easy with the little plates. Just move it up a little. It's there. Remove our ring compressor. Oops. Out. Carefully put this down. Okay. And there we go. So then, now that we've got that down, I'm going to put a couple of these on it. We'll just snug them up. And that will hold that in place. Now we can just turn it over here, make sure everything's free. Put our pin in. So we start out by getting our gasket in the right place. On our pin and on our oil hose. Just slide those on there for the moment till I get the wrist pin in. Making sure we're pointed forward. Start that in the piston first. Just gonna stick a rag there quick before I put that clip in. Again, making sure that the sharp side is out on the clip. Make sure we're seated there and that the clip is at the top. That's what we want. And then we need our little plates. You just want to turn that down so the piston sits square. lots of oil on it. Lots of oil on the rings and the piston. That'll make our ring compressor go on there a little better. Bottom. And we just want that down a little bit from the top edge, enough to get your cylinder on there so you can start it. With these cylinders also, we've put these small little pigtails, they're called, and they go right down through the oil hole, and they help so that the oil has to travel through. It's up inside of here, about this far, so it helps the oil travel through. Eliminates one of the problems that the Evos have with them leaking around the base gasket. Alright, we're in there. Looks good. Square it up. There we go. Just that easy with those little plates. There we go. Just up enough so you can get the expander out, compressor. Take our little plates out. All right, now with any luck, we'll just go down in there. Half a chance. Here we go. Second cylinder in. A little chip in her, it did. And that's our cylinders. So there we go, we got our cylinders installed on there, and everything looks good. A little bit of dicking around with the front one, but it did go down. Just take your time, fit things in there the way they're supposed to be, and don't get in a rush. Start pounding and hammering on things. It was just a little bit out of line because of the pigtail. Once we got that straightened up, down she went. All right, so now our next thing to do is get our heads on. Put these gaskets on. We're using James gaskets, so they're quite a tight fit around here, and we don't need to put the O-rings in on those because they fit right around the dowels where they're supposed to there. There we go, and we'll just stick this one in for the time being. Place. Okay. And did I just do with those? There we go. There, that will keep them all tight for this evening, and we're just going to put a nice rag over top of them so nothing, no dirt or anything will fall into them. But she's starting to take shape, and I'm glad to see that. So that about ties it up for today. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget, subscribe, like, ring the bell, do those things. We're growing and we love to grow more, so we hope that you'll help us out and give us a thumbs up. A comment or two wouldn't hurt either. Be glad to hear it. And we'll see you on the next video as this motor comes together. All right.